is on her way. gentlemen, if you want straight answers, ask a straight lady. For this is a Fred the Alien Productions podcast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Fulya gets that reference.
Yay! She gets the reference. I'm so happy. Cue the music.
I don't know what we're yelling about! We came, we saw, we kicked its ass!
Doc, are you telling me you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style?
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
Look, we're gonna have company! Loud noises!
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a Kendall Richardson.
How much?
And I'm the pausing man that is a Michael Lister.
And you're now experiencing a podcast called Fred.
Yes, experiencing it through the mediums of, oh boy, look at that now. Ooh, yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy?
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
We're
Oh, boy.
working on internet.
Working on the internet, yes. Yes. It's the glue that holds the world together these days.
Yeah, and we're all over 16, so we can still be on the internet.
Woo!
Yeah.
Woo.
Woo.
Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hope you use your government ID to use the internet. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Welcome to the show, everyone. Let's jump in like we do each and every week. Fulya, please take us through your weekly watchings.
Cool. So I'm continuing my watch through of Delicious in Dungeon. It's still good fun. I've also started watching a very old 90s sitcom that is currently on Disney Plus by the name of Home Improvement.
Ho, 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 ho.
I just got reminded that that's a show I have only seen random episodes of, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit down and watch it like from start to finish. So
Yeah, right. Wow.
yeah, got have it running sort of in the background, kind of while I'm like doing other things and stuff. But it's good fun, still pretty funny. But some of the sexist jokes don't very well.
What are you talking about? That was when man was man and woman was woman. And Wilson was, hey, oh, neighbor.
But it's still cool to at least see like the kids still being kids and all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, so been watching that. And finally, the one other thing that I've been watching, so I haven't really watched much. I managed to get my my Moon Knight Blu-ray to work on my PlayStation. Holy crap! I was holding my breath trying to like when I put that disc in. I was like, please work. Fingers crossed, please work. And then the animation started. I'm like, oh, is this working? And then it brought up the home screen, and then I picked the thing that I wanted to watch, and I ended up watching Marvel Studios Assembled Moon Knight on the Blu-ray.
Oh. Nice.
I think I've already watched it on Disney Plus. I don't remember if I did though, because when I watched it, it felt like I was watching it for the first time.
Okay.
So it was really nice to just watch through that Marvel Studio Assembled for Moon Knight, and just gave it really got me wanting to watch it a third time.
Yeah.
I love it so much. I now also own 2 Moon Knight comics. Which I started one that I started reading after I bought it in New York, because I went to what was it is it a Books and Noble? Is it that's what
Barnes and Noble?
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Which is essentially a bookshop with a Starbucks in it.
Yeah.
Are they all that,
Very
though?
cool.
Most of them, yeah, I think so. But yeah, so I bought another Moon Knight comic while I was there, and I started reading it, and I'm just like, this is good. This is really good.
Nice.
Cementing my love for the character that much more. So yeah, absolutely number one favorite Marvel hero. Or I'll say Marvel
Nice.
character because I don't know he's really much of a hero, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a complicated one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So learning a lot more about Moon Knight as well in terms of like the lore of Moon Knight and the different variations of Moon Knight, Misty Knight and all that sort of stuff. So that's been really cool and just loved the whole, the fact that it's all just, Egyptology, ancient Egypt lore. A lot of Egyptian actors as well, which is amazing.
Yep.
And then I find out that what's his name? Oscar Isaac ended up going back to the same desert that he was there for. Was it Star Wars and Dune
Yeah.
to film those movies there? And then they ended up doing that in Jordan for Moon Knight as well, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's like what a
Crazy.
coincidence. It must be a really good backlog for a desert like area to film in. So I mean, it makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching. Been really enjoying those, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Nice. Thank you
That's
for sharing.
cute.
That's very cool. Very, very cool. Mike, what about you?
Hello. Little bits and pieces that I've been watching. Up to episode 46 of Critical Role, which is pretty good. I'm now past the when Vax got shot by the bird lady, and they had to do a quick heal before she dies. So that was a bit of a thing, sort of a one-off thing. But by the end of one of the episodes, it's like, oh, that was a thing. It made a bit more to do within the animated series of what's happening. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, they're slowly in the middle of season 2 of the show. So that's been going good. I've been trying to listen, hear an episode a day. So hopefully, and I've worked out by almost to the end of February, I'll be finished the first campaign. So that's good. Gives me something to do. And unfortunately, I put One Piece on the back burner just for that. So I'm sorry for that. But I did watch one episode of Delicious Dungeons.
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah, I reckon I can get into it. It's D&D,
right?
Yeah, it's D&D. It's and full of cooking of how
Yeah, exactly.
how a cooking show would be within a fantasy world. I was like, I could really get into this. That was pretty cool. That was pretty good. So yeah, but again, on the back burner because there's other stuff to watch. Speaking of which, I haven't really started Dune Prophecy yet because there was one show that I wanted to finish, and that is Arcane, which I've completely finished. All Act 3 came yesterday, and I watched it all. And I'm aware that you probably haven't seen it, Kendall. So no spoilers here.
Thank you. Thank you.
But have you seen Act 2 at all?
I've only seen the first 2 episodes, so I'm going to talk about it.
Okay. So what's that? 3, 4, 5. So you're up to 5. You're past 5 of season 2.
I've seen episodes 1 and 2, so
of season 2.
yeah.
Oh,
I haven't seen halfway. I've seen 1 and 2.
okay. So don't spoil it at
Wait, you kind of can't say much. Sorry.
all. like at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Blame my friends and I for our terrible schedules.
That's right. I do believe you. But after a particular episode, not telling when, I sort of exploded on the group chat of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was one particular episode. I was like, I don't know if I want to finish this or not, or so. when the third act came out, I just finished it because please redeem yourself, and it did. I reckon it did. So overall, it was very enjoyable. I was hoping for it to be more of a it finished in a way that it seemed like they could branch out into other things, because I don't know anything about League of Legends, League of the Legends, but there's more lore, there's more stuff, so they could probably branch out to more of that. But the overall arcing scenario with these characters, like Eve and Powder, or Jinx, and the others, it slotted in well of what their story was, so that was good. And yeah, and I'll just leave it at that, because I don't want to spoil anything, because it was a great journey, even though there was one particular thing that I completely had a very bad reaction to, and
Oh boy.
and yeah, so
Great. Okay.
favorite character, maybe Echo. I want to see more of him if they ever do like a branching out storyline or anything like that. So that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Yeah, so I haven't really been watching much. It's just mostly Crit Role and Arcane. But I did see a movie that I found in my possession. I don't know how. And that was Saturday Night. Yeah, I watched Saturday Night. And yes,
How was that?
it was good. It was very niche. So
Okay.
if you're not like savvy with the sort of a history with Saturday Night Live, I think you'll probably go, but for what it was, if you're jumping in like cold, it's an interesting movie where it just takes place like the 90 minutes before the first episode of Saturday Night Live, and they chuck in a lot of stuff that it's sort of like the greatest hits of particular characters, performers that are actually in it. So I appreciate that, because I knew every sort of thing. But for an average like moviegoer, you probably get lost, and it's like, oh, why are we going over here? Okay, does it really fit within the narrative? Oh, okay. Yeah, not sure about the portrayal of Jim Henson, but you know, he was part of the first episode, so he has to be in there, and the story with Billy Crystal is kind of interesting as well, because of sort of the cutthroat sort of take of trying to get something that hasn't been really done before, of having a live show like each week, and trying to make everything fit within the time frame that they have, which was good. The actors' portrayals are very good. I really enjoyed they're sort of like good homages, and they're also fit within the world that they have, as well as being their own caricatures as well. Like we sort of know the Chevy Chase, we sort of know the John Belushi, and I do agree with the internet that have Dreamcast the guy that does John Belushi as Wolverine. That will be cool. It's like this very short. He's a short guy, but he's a bundle of energy, and it's like you might see him like, you know, schnick and that sort of thing. So that would be good. And yeah, he kind of looks like the comic accurate of Wolverine too. It's like, forget Henry Cavill and the Cavalrine. Like he needs that. That's good for just. He's the John Galinsky of of it. It's just one and done, and it's like, yeah, you got it. You know, fine. Let's do something else then. Let's get Pedro Pascal. You know. But yeah, overall, if we're going to rate this, I probably wouldn't recommend it for everyone. Just if you're a big comedy nerd like me. So.
Okay.
But essentially, I was like watching. There's a DVD that I got. I think I still have it. I probably got rid of it like ages ago, which is a shame. It was like the first 5 years. It was a documentary of the first 5 years of Saturday Night Live, and there's a lot in that, like in this movie. So sort of a retelling of that, which is good. Yeah. So take it as you will.
Will do.
What about you, Kendall? What have you been watching? That is not Arcane.
You want me to save that for last?
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or do you want me to? Do you want me to? We'll talk about the other stuff first. Okay.
That's up to you. It's your podcast, you know.
It's our podcast. Okay, hour. It's my time to talk. Yes, I watched a few things this week. And yeah, a couple of movies, like older movies, and that I had never seen, that have, you know, kind of always been in the back of my mind. Starting with, I'll mention, I watched Unbreakable, which was the M. Night Shyamalan movie with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. And it's, if you guys haven't seen it, I would recommend watching it only because it's such a superhero movie. It's a comic book movie. Like, it's because it's basically like you have these two characters, Bruce Willis's character and Samuel L. Jackson's character, and that they're kind of at the opposite ends of each other, and so they're kind of connected and in this weird way. I won't explain it without giving it away, but basically, well, not too much, but basically Bruce Willis is like the only survivor of this train wreck, and Samuel L. Jackson grew up obsessed on comic books, and he's a little kooky, and he's like, I think you might actually be a real life superhero, basically. And the movie is about kind of Bruce Willis's character figuring that out, and he's going through a divorce, and he's got a kid, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it turns into sort of like a thinky superhero movie by the end of it, and I really liked it. I liked it a lot. Holds up for a movie that was made like nearly 25 years ago as well. So yeah, I recommend. I need to watch Glass now because it's I've seen Split already.
Yeah,
Unbreakable.
I was gonna say that was the bridge.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. So now I need to watch Glass and see how it all comes together.
The umbrella.
The umbrella. Another movie I watched for the first time, and Mike, this is probably going to shock you. I watched Saving Private Ryan.
That's not going to shock me. But
well, it's like
it is a war
big
film.
Movie. It is a war film, and I've never been one to go out of my way to watch war movies, but I like the non-war side to wars, I guess, the more human story. Like, you know, if I'm going to watch a war movie about World War II, I'm going to watch something about the Holocaust, probably, over seeing the action, the combat.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why. Apparently, I just like to make myself really sad, I guess. But, you know, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, Saving Private Ryan. Yeah, I also now need to watch Shakespeare in Love to understand why the fuck that beat this movie for Best Picture the same year of the Oscars. I mean, all the love to Jeffrey Rush, but interesting.
Nah.
Interesting stuff. No. Anyway, but yeah, Saving Private Ryan, holds up amazingly well as well. Such a good movie. It's just Spielberg at the top of his game. Like, he, you know, each and every movie Spielberg makes is just immaculate. But like, I have either of you seen it? Mike, have you seen it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah. So the opening sequence, the beach sequence that goes for like half an hour, that was that was unbelievable. And I've heard people talk that opening up for years. Like I've heard people say this is like one of the best openings of a movie ever, like one of the best recreations of a real battle that's ever happened ever. Like, and it was just, you could, if you really felt like you were there, you really felt like you were on the boats going in, and then just you could feel the artillery coming at you. You could feel just the fact that these men are dying, but their their companions have to keep going, and they're just watching their friends die, and they can't do anything about it, and they just have to keep going until hopefully they can overcome. And it was just like, every time Tom Hanks' character went to ask someone a question, I was like, are they going to even be able to answer the question? Because these guys were dropping like flies. It was insane. Like 1 second you'd be like, there was literally one scene that got me. There was a couple of scenes that got me. One was like, there's this moment where Tom Hanks is trying to communicate to this guy who's got the radio to go back to, HQ or whatever. And he's going back and forth between him, and then the camera's like following, and then one point the camera goes back and the guy's missing his face. Like he's been hit with something and his face is gone. And I was just like, oh fuck. Like this movie does not fuck around. Oh, okay. I hope that caught on. Did that catch on?
I heard something.
Wow. Yeah, my stack of CDs next to my desk just.
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. It all just collapsed. Anyway.
Heard a spillage.
Yeah.
I'll save it for later. Anyway, that's fun.
Save it for Ryan.
Save it for Ryan. And then there was another moment where, like, literally, like, Tom Hanks's character, I think, is like going through like this shell shock moment, and you see him watch this soldier who's lost one of his arms.
Yeah.
And then the soldier just so casually just is like, oh yeah, I better pick that up, and he just turns around and picks up his arm and then walks away. I'm just like, fuck me. Anyway, it was amazing. And it was a really good movie. Like I think the only issue with the film is that scene and then the rest of it almost feel like two different films because of the way they kind of shot and done. Because like the Spielbergy kind of wholesome ish kind of story, Hollywood story, kind of comes in after all this stuff. Like very interesting. Like in terms of movie making, it's incredible. So, but yeah, it was a really good war movie, and yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. Speaking of war and fighting, I managed to take myself to the cinema today, and I watched Gladiator 2.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm still processing it. Still digesting, but yeah, I don't know if the first one might have been better. I think, I don't know. Like there was something about this one that just didn't
click.
Didn't fully click. Like it felt like it was trying to copy the original or redo the original in a way, but then it was also trying to do kind of tell a different sort of story that was also similar. Like it was just, I don't know. It was a weird script. It was a weird story. Because I mean they could have just, like, it's just weird because like they gave the main character played by Paul Mescal, they gave him basically like the same origin story as Maximus, Russell Crowe's character. Like I'm not going to spoil too much of the movie. But yeah, there was just, I don't know, decisions were made, and yeah, I mean it was beautiful to look at. You know, you see the money on the screen. They spent over $300 million to make this thing. And it looks really, really good. And yeah, the cast were great, but yeah, even then, it just, I don't know, just for some reason nothing can really beat the original, I think, which is funny because I only watched that like a month ago for the first time. And that it's such a simple story. Like it's such a simple hero, you know, goes through trials and tragedy to rise up and overthrow and overcome and all this stuff, but they kind of negated some of that as well. It was weird. I recommend people go watch it. Like if you like the first movie, you'll get something out of this, you'll enjoy it. and like the spectacle of it is really cool. Like the way they stage all the gladiator scenes in the arena and everything is really great. Yeah, and Denzel's good. Like Denzel's good as everyone's saying. Like he's just he feels like he's in another movie sometimes though, which is funny. But no, I liked that he was playing his own game the whole time, basically. So that was a bit of fun. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. Yeah, go see it on the big screen if you can. But yeah, I was maybe my expectations were too high. I don't know. But Pedro was great. Pedro and Paul Mescal as well, both very good. So I got my eye candy fix. And then I think I'll leave that there and then move on to Arcane.
Hey!
Arcane, yay, yes. Finally had a chance to sit down and start watching this. And yeah, so the first 2 episodes. The first episode in particular was amazing. Like, what a way to come back and continue this story. And it was so heartbreaking. Like, Mike, I think I remember you talking about the animation stuff. I loved how they depicted the grief and the loss that they were all feeling, the way that the bombing at the end of the first season changed everything for so many people, and so how so many people died and everyone was connected and all this stuff. So yeah, just this grayscale animation, and then our characters are in color and everything around them is gray. And
yeah, everything done with
it's just
with charcoal drawing. It was fantastic.
Different animation style. Yeah, one of my friends, while we were watching it, I don't know if it would have been that scene, but there was definitely another scene where one of my mates went to me, they've definitely been paying attention to Spider-Verse since the last season, I think. Just because, but that aside, like the animation, I still have to say the animation in this is probably my favorite animation I've ever seen on anything. Like, and I love Spider-Verse. Like, don't get me wrong, like that stuff is amazing as well. But like, there's something about the just textures of Arcane and the color of it and the environment around the characters and the detail they put into each character's outfit and the way they capture expressions so effortlessly, it seems. It's just outstanding. Like it's just very good. But yeah, I really liked the first 2 episodes. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. It seems to be going in a good feels trained direction. I'm excited to see more of Caitlin be a badass, because I liked the fact that she kind of came around and was like, no, I'm here and I'm gonna be fucking taking you're taking orders from me now. Like I'm not gonna stand for anything. Yeah, and then Jinx just remains complicated as ever, and like having moments of like grieving over Silco, and then it's like, oh yeah, she killed him, but she's also she's just crazy. She's batshit crazy. But we love her. Yeah, it's a great show. And I'm excited to get to whatever part Mike is referring to where he lost his shit. So we'll see how that goes. Will I know it when I get there?
Oh yes.
Oh, good. I love those kinds of moments.
If you not to spoil it or anything, if you like Spider-Verse so much, wait till episode 7.
Okay, they go ham on the Spider-Verse animation style, sort of.
No.
Something in the story.
Okay.
Ooh. I'm very intrigued.
Intriguing.
Intriguing.
Yeah, it just led to a way it's like, okay, if you're gonna do this, do it good. It's like, all right. I wouldn't have gone that way, but I enjoyed it. But as I'm sitting with it, it's like, oh yeah, it sort of makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll let you know.
Yeah. The last arc, they implemented something that I thought, oh, this may break the entire story, but it didn't, so that's good.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Well, thank you for your addendum there to my little wrap up. I look forward to getting to the rest of it, but it won't be for a couple of weeks.
That's all right.
'cause-
I'll just be here when you say which one you're up to. It's like, oh, wasn't it so good? It was so good.
I can't wait. So good. Alrighty, that's the weekly watchings. Let's dive on into the nerdy news.
The nerdy news.
This is the news in nerdy news. The nerds that talk about the nerdy news. That is us who talk about the news that is nerdy. And now the queen of nerdydom, the hostess with mostest, Kendall Richardson. Take it away, Kendall.
It's nerdy news time. And we're gonna start things off with a little bit of Simpsons news, because this is kind of huge, I think. After 36 seasons, Pamela Hayden, who voices many characters on The Simpsons, most importantly, of course, Milhouse Van Houten, she has decided to retire and step away from The Simpsons. And look, at the age of 70, I don't blame her, because now she can just spend the rest of her life with all of her millions of dollars, just doing whatever the hell she wants. So, I think she's definitely earned it. But yeah, apparently her final episode is airing this week. So by the time this episode goes out, it'll probably have aired. It's going to be the Treehouse of Horror episode, apparently, even though Halloween was like 3 weeks ago. But it's called Simpsons Wicked This Way Comes, and the episode's going to follow Lisa after she's transported into 3 strange stories from the innocent 1950s, the chilling retro present, and a brutalist future where prestige TV rules the world. Interesting. But yeah, so that's going to be her last episode. She put out a statement and said, "The time has come for me to hang up my microphone, but how do I say goodbye to The Simpsons? Not easily. It's been an honor and a joy to have worked on such a funny, witty, and groundbreaking show, and to give voice to Milhouse and Jimbo Jones, Rod Flanders, Janie, Malibu Stacy, and many others." Yeah. So yeah, end of an era. They haven't announced who's going to replace her on the show yet, but they've said that they are going to be opening casting calls soon. So probably by probably very soon, I guess. If they're in the middle of a season, then maybe they're gonna have to think fast. But I suppose the luxury of her, voicing supporting characters is that they can work around it a lot easier if they don't find someone to do that. But yeah, Milhouse is such an iconic character, and he's never going to sound the same now. But yeah, just absolute kudos and shout out to Pamela Hayden for voicing these characters, especially our blue-haired, four-eyed geek friend, who is just the subject of so much joy for me. One of my favorite characters, I think, from The Simpsons. So yeah, just amazing. So yeah, Pamela, you will be missed, but enjoy your retirement and live it up, please do. Fulya, do you have any thoughts on Pamela Hayden's departure from The Simpsons?
Oh, look, she had a good run, so props to her to going out in her own terms and being like, hey, I'm gonna hang up my microphone now, before I get older, or before her voice changes in any way. So, it's if she says it's a good time to stop and retire and just chill for whatever time she has left, then yeah, sure, like, why not? That's really good decision on her behalf, but she will definitely be missed. I will be honest though, haven't really been keeping up with much of The Simpsons, to be honest.
Nah, me either.
You're in the rest of the world.
Yeah, I'm just like, Simpsons. It's great. It is a great cartoon series. It really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't really kept up with it since a long time ago. We'll say.
No, that's fair. That's totally
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, I think we're all in the same boat.
Mm.
Well, thank you for your thoughts, Mike. What about you? Hello.
Same as Fulya. I haven't been keeping up, but yeah, every year I watch the Treehouse of Horrors. See what fruits of labour they have each year, and yeah, it's been a while since Halloween, but sometimes schedules are out of your hands when it comes to that.
Yes.
And yeah, she will be missed, and it's kind of interesting that she's it's either a lot of people would outlast the TV show, but it looks like the TV show would outlast you. So it's weird, and yeah, they'll probably get sound alikes and that, and they'll probably just open the door for, well, that means The Simpsons can go forever. It goes forever now. So
forever.
And yeah, and it's kind of weird that I'm the same age as The Simpsons, so it's always going to be around.
Yeah.
When they turn 40, I'd turn 40. When they turn 50, I'd turn 50. Who's going to last? Me or The Simpsons?
It's a race.
It's a race to the finish line. And the finish line is death. Can't you?
Can't you? We'll get to death later.
Right.
Yes, we will. All right, we got one more thing in the news to talk about, which is pretty exciting because the Game Awards have dropped their nominations for the 2024 ceremony. Leading the pack, we have Astrobot and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth with 7 nominations each. And following behind them was Metaphor Refantasio with 6.
Or I like to call Refantastico.
Oh, Refantastico! I like it. PlayStation came out on top as the most nominated publisher as well. Overall, 16 nominations for PlayStation.
Yeah,
so
that's a lot. Yeah,
that is a lot. Game of the Year nominees are as follows: Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantasio. So I looked at this list and I kind of got a little annoyed because I was like, hang on. One of these games is a remake and the other is DLC. How are we nominating these for Game of the Year? And apparently, as I'm going to read, this is the official criteria for Game of the Year.
Excuse.
The official excuse, yes. The Game Awards aims to recognize the best creative and technical work each year, irrespective of the format of that content's release. Expansion packs, new game seasons, DLCs, remakes, and remasters are eligible in all categories if the jury deems the new creative and technical work to be worthy of a nomination. Factors such as the newness of the content and its price/value should be taken into consideration. So, yeah. I still, especially because Elden Ring swept, was it last year or the year before?
I think it was the year before.
The year before, yeah, because last year was Baldur's Gate 3, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Elden Ring swept 2 years ago, and now it's back, and it's getting a second shot. I mean, look, people say it's a good game. Maybe it deserves it.
I do not.
Fully is not one of those people.
I tried playing Elden Ring. It's not fun.
Oh, really?
To me it's not
okay.
fun.
Okay. Fair enough. Not your kind of game.
No.
Not your kind of game. There was just 2 other categories I wanted to shout out before I pass to you guys, since you guys are definitely the gamers of the podcast. If I can find them, where are they? Scroll down. Best adaptation. This is the category I care about at the Game Awards. Best adaptation.
You can't
Huh?
play adaptations. You just press play, and that's it.
You just press play. Best adaptation, we have Arcane, Fallout, Knuckles, Like a Dragon Yakuza, and Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft. I think it's going to be a tough one, and it's going to be between Arcane and Fallout, I think. I don't know how good the Like a Dragon TV show is, though. I haven't read any reviews yet. Or seen any of it yet, so I can't say. But because Fallout was amazing, and Arcane is looking to be amazing. That's where my money is. But then the other category I found really interesting was they have a category for most anticipated game.
Yeah, they do.
Feels like a bit of a cop out to me. Like these games aren't out yet.
No.
It's a promotion thing, right?
It is a bit of a promo thing, but it's also just to show everybody what games people are really hyped for.
Mm-hmm.
That's what most anticipated game is.
The hype meter.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The nominees are Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghost of Yotei or Yotai, forgive my pronunciation, Grand Theft Auto 6, of course, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and Monster Hunter Wilds. I think Grand Theft Auto is going to win that by a mile, considering when the fucking trailer for that game dropped, my entire store stopped working. all the boys, all the salespeople, everybody just stopped what they were doing and crowded around their phones and just like, oh my god! It was a sight to behold. I loved it. But anyway, enough from me. I don't have much else about the Game Awards. So, Fulya, I'm really keen to hear your thoughts. How are you feeling about all the nominations so far? What are your takes?
So, I'm happy that Astrobot's up there. Like, that was actually a pretty big one for me, considering that I absolutely adore that game, and I'm still playing it because I want to platinum it that much. That's how much I'm playing through it. It's a tough game. Like, I know it's like a family game, but there are levels that get very challenging. And I appreciate the game for that, but man, does it frustrate me. It's supposed to be a cute and fun game. But yeah, no, it's actually really cool that Astrobot's up there with one of the most nominations for awards for the Game Awards. For me, I also look into like the best family games. And the nominees in the best family category is Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. Now, that category in itself has 3 Nintendo games in it.
Oh, wow.
3.
Yeah. That's stacked.
Excuse me, but why?
Ooh.
Were there no other family games that could have been nominated? Anyway.
I don't know.
I'm hoping... Look, I have a feeling maybe Super Mario Party Jamboree might get it, or maybe even Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I think that might get it too.
Okay.
Plucky Squire is pretty much up there too. And that one has like a really sort of interesting take on its gameplay, where you're going from 2D storybook into a 3, and then jumping out of the storybook, going into the 3D world, kind of a sort of a thing, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I haven't played it myself yet, but a lot of people have said good things about it, so I would like to play it at some stage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's that. My other favorite categories that I usually go for, because these are the type of games I play the most, is best independent game. But in this particular category, I've only played 1 of the 5 that have been nominated.
Oh.
But that's only because these particular indie games are not my like style of gaming. Like they're not the genres I tend to go towards.
Okay.
So the nominees for best independent game are Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Never, and UFO 50. And so Never is the one that I've played out of all 5.
Okay.
And that game is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It is visually stunning. The The story for it is actually really cool. And of course just the sound design for the game is really awesome too, because they also incorporate, especially on the PlayStation 5, they incorporate sounds coming out of the DualSense controller, and they have good. I think they've got some haptic triggers going on as well. But yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful game. Essentially, it's made by the same developers that made Grease, which is also another visually stunning game that I've also played, and it's absolutely beautiful. This one's more about protection, like prey and predator kind of a thing that's happening. The wolf is there to actually, like protect the main protagonist, but also the protagonist has to defend the wolf as well. So there's like a bit of a balancing act here as like seasons pass. So as seasons pass and the wolf gets older and all that sort of stuff, you have to look after it and all that. But the wolf also helps you, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm,
the music is absolutely stunning as well.
yeah.
So I really like it. You wanted to say something, Kendall?
Yeah, sorry. I'm just like, I'm listening to you talk about it and I'm watching a gameplay video on
Yeah.
YouTube of it. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's
Like,
stunning.
it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like,
Throughout the whole game, I took so many like screen captures, like screenshots of the game, that I've literally made it like a rotating wallpaper on my PC. That's how beautiful it is.
oh yeah, that's great.
It's so good. It is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's absolutely gorgeous. There's no words to it either. Like you don't really hear a lot. There's not much dialogue in there.
Right.
There's no narrations. You just go by what you see, essentially what you see and what you hear. Yeah, it's really good. So I'm hoping that Never, gets gets the win for this one, but it's also in there with a couple of other heavy hitters like Balatro, and Animal Well has been receiving some good reviews as well. So yeah, so there is that. But also, best debut indie game also is a category that I'd like to mention. And the nominees for that is Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire, which is really cool. So that's for the best debut game created by a new independent studio. So that's kind of cool too. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me specifically. However, I want to just quickly touch on best mobile game, which is for the best game playable on a mobile device. And I only say this because there's one game in here that I have been playing since I've been in the US, because that's when it dropped. That's when it came out. And that game is Pokemon trading card game Pocket.
How did I guess? How did I guess?
I am not generally a TCG player, let alone a Pokemon TCG player. However, the thought of having and collecting digital cards, battling like on the phone with digital decks, actually appealed to me a little bit more than going out of my way and spending all my money and buying the physical cards. This was a cheaper alternative for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you get to open up a booster pack every 12 hours, and you can create decks using the cards that you collect. You can battle. There's a bit of a different battle system apparently compared to the actual TCG game, where in the TCG, like the real life TCG game, the physical, you have 60 cards in a deck, whereas in TCG Pocket, you only have 20 cards in a deck, which is a lot smaller, which means you have to strategize a lot more for this one. And yeah, I'm actually just loving seeing all the different card designs, to be honest. That's generally what I've been really liking to see, and finding all the shiny cards, the holographic ones. And a new thing that they've implemented is cards, and these are a lot rarer cards cards that you can actually dive into the design of, and it goes a bit more in depth in its like art. So it's almost like you get like a bit like a, what would you call it? Like a mini clip, like a video clip of going into the card's design. And it's actually really cool. And I've got one, and it's a Mewtwo one, which is really cool, which is the one where Mewtwo escapes the laboratories. And yeah, it's a really cool mobile device game, and I definitely recommend it if you are a fan of Pokemon. It doesn't, like, you don't have to spend any money on it. There are like special like season passes or memberships or whatever that you can use there. So there are some microtransactions in the game, but you really don't need to pay any money to get any kind of enjoyment out of it, which, that's me. I've been enjoying it for free, so it's been really good. But the other nominees in that category is AFK Journey, Balatro, Weathering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Zenless Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero, Zenless Zone Zero.
But yeah. As for the Game of the Year category, look, there's a lot of heavy hitters in here. I don't know that Astrobot's going to win this one, to be honest. I have a feeling that maybe Final Fantasy VIII Rebirth Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might get it. Metaphor Refantasio, I don't think so. But I feel like Elden Ring Shadow of the Arrow Tree might be up there. So yeah, it's going to be between Elden Ring and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I think. I haven't played Black Myth Wukong, so I wouldn't know about that one, but I heard a lot of good things about it, to be honest. A lot of people enjoyed that game. But yeah, I don't know. I'll be surprised. It could go to any one of these particular games, but I'll be very surprised if it goes to Astrobot. As much as I love the game,
Yeah.
considering this category, the type of games that it's up against, yeah, I don't know.
Not sure.
No, I'm not sure. It's a great game. I just don't know if it's gonna get crowned Game of the Year.
That's
but
fair.
We'll see. Yeah,
That's fair. All right.
that's pretty much my thoughts on the Game of the Year awards.
Nice. Thanks, Fulya. That was awesome. Mike, do you have any thoughts on the Game of the Year? Have you played any of these games? Anything to talk about?
Mostly the Nintendo ones. I've played a little bit of Princess Peach Showtime because that was my daughter's wish for a birthday present. So,
Yeah.
and she's played that from start to finish. So proud of her.
Nice.
Echo Kingdom, the new
Echoes of
Zelda
Wisdom.
one.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Echo Kingdom, Echo Wisdom. Shadow of the Colossus. Bit of fun. I haven't finished all the way through, but very interesting gameplay. So maybe up there. And that's basically it. No Minecraft.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe next year's best adaptation.
Don't go too far.
That would be very interesting. All right, let's plow through, shall we? With the new news over, it's time to roll on up to the trailer park.
Rolling up to the trailer park where we all park all the trailers. Hee-ha.
Can't hear you.
I muted myself. Thank you. Alrighty, it's trailer park time. And yes, kicking things off this week, we have our first look, a little teaser of the upcoming live action version of How to Train Your Dragon. Yes. So I think we've talked about this a little bit since it's been announced, a bit in the news. And my thoughts still stand even after seeing this footage that no, this movie does not need to exist. But it might be okay because it's being made by the same people who made the animated movies. I would like to hear a justification besides money as to why this movie should exist. But hey, it's fine. I just like the fact that it's that kind of gives it a little bit of grace for me of like, okay, well, it's not just being readapted or reworked by someone who thinks they know the material or whatever. Like these are the originators of this stuff. Yeah, Dean DeBlois. I'm saying that wrong. Dean DeBlois. He did the original. He's writing, directing this. And then of course, my favorite bit of casting in this is the fact that Gerard Butler is getting to play Stoic in real life. It's just really great, I think. So that's really cool. But yeah, it looks great. This is a very, very good teaser trailer. It's showed us a little bit of what it's going to look like. It kind of almost looks like it's going to be a shot for shot remake, which might give me some pause, but we'll see. But it was nice to see the first time that Hiccup and Toothless meet and get that exchange, and they've recreated it pretty nicely. Toothless looks pretty cool. I mean, they haven't changed him too much, except now he looks, they've given him texture. We see the scales on his skin and all of this. So it's still, I don't know. He still looks very much like his original counterpart, which is interesting. So, but can you imagine if they tried to make him look like a Game of Thrones dragon? Like, how many people would be like, "What are you doing?"
Thank God they didn't.
Yeah, I think so. I feel like ugly Sonic taught people lessons.
Don't go for realism.
Yeah, don't go full real. We'll go home empty-handed.
Go Protective Pikachu.
Yes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but I'm keeping an open mind. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes when we get a full trailer. Fulya, what did you think of this? I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
So, I was kind of on the fence about this myself because, like you, Kendall, I'm like, why do we need another live-action version of an animated movie? But I think this one could work more so because of the fact that it's Vikings, and the dragon side of things is like a really interesting. It's very D&D kind of, maybe not as much, but it sort of gives me the vibe of it's going to be some form of like D&D sort of style, but with Vikings. Toothless looks really good, surprisingly. I actually like the look of Toothless. It's all gonna come down to the comical mannerisms that we get in the animated film, how it gets pulled off in the live action with the dragon. The humans are fine. It's just the dragons, by the way. It's not just Toothless. There's gonna be other dragons that are gonna be popping up in this movie. So I want to see a full trailer with the other dragons and see how well this all kind of comes together. Because for now, all we got is just Hiccup and Toothless and a little bit of the village. That's about it. So yeah, I'm hesitant, but I am optimistic about it. Like, I think it's going to turn out okay. I feel like it's going to turn out all right.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
let's hope so. Mike, what did you think of this? Are you interested in watching this when it comes out?
I think so. I haven't watched pretty much all the way through any of them, so so I can probably go into it blind and say, hey, it's a good story, and not have it's not like this, not like the same. But I don't mind. Serious. And cool that they got Gerard Butler doing a reprising role. I think that will be a good thing to do if you're going to do like live action stuff. It's like, well, the people who did the voice were also sort of the main what's the word, ideal person to do it. I mean, case in point, Danny DeVito being Phil in a live action Hercules movie would be interesting. That would be good because no one else can do it except for Danny DeVito. A lot of cool people that are in this, and I'll be watching it for that. And yeah, something for the kids, I reckon. Who knows? I'll probably go into a deep dive of how to train your dragon. Because I like dragons. Dragons are real.
Dragons are real.
Dragons are real. I've seen them in pictures. So when is this coming out, Kendall?
Well, How to Train Your Dragon, the live action interpretation, will be in cinemas next year on the 12th of June.
12th of June.
The 12th of June. All right. Our next trailer is an actual animated film, stop motion animated. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Yeah, this looks fun. This looks like it's gonna be a good time. Yeah, Wallace and Gromit are always good to watch. I love what Aardman do, Nick Park, that whole team. They spend so much time making these movies, and the British humor in them is just wonderful, and Wallace and Gromit are so classic characters now. Like we just got pop vinyl figures of them at work, which is really cute to see. But yeah, this looks cool. This looks fun. I like the fact that at one point I noticed, it's like a blink and you'll miss it, Gromit was reading Paradise Lost, and I just thought that was really funny. So funny. But yeah, and I like Wallace. He's going all these inventions, and the fact that he's come up with this like smart gnome, and as soon as he did, I was like, nah, this is gonna backfire at some point. So I felt very vindicated, but so did me and a million other people who watched this trailer, because it was obvious. But it was cool, and just this evil penguin as a antagonist here is quite amusing as well. So so I might watch this. I reckon. I mean, it's gonna be on Netflix, so easy to access. What did you think, Fulya?
I haven't watched any of the other Wallace and Gromit movies.
That's fine. I haven't. No. I haven't really watched all of it either. I've just dabbled here and there, so you're fine. Don't worry.
I barely dabbled.
I barely dabbled. Well, now I'm gonna judge you. Yeah.
No.
It's not like it goes for hours.
Shame.
No.
Three specials in a movie.
Yeah.
Watching the trailer was actually pretty funny. I did actually enjoy watching the trailer. I feel like maybe I should go back and actually watch the other films as well in the lead up to this one, because they just seem like you said, the British humor. I love British humor, and it's stop motion. I love stop motion. How have I not gone out of my way to watch this? I used to love watching like the series when it was a thing. Like randomly, but the movies for some reason just never really hit me. I don't know why. Maybe it was just age bracket or something. I don't know. But yeah, it looks like fun. There's a lot of espionage-y kind of things happening, and just a lot of silly action adventure with what's the bird? Is it a penguin?
A penguin.
It's a penguin.
It's a penguin, right? Yeah. A penguin out for vengeance because he couldn't steal the diamond that he wanted to steal the last time. And now he's out to get it again, but this time using AI.
It's from the wrong trousers.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of it looks cute. So yeah, I feel like I need to go back and actually watch the other films before I watch this one. So yeah. Looks good.
Great. Mike, what did you think?
I thought, yes, I want to watch it. Because, yeah, unfortunately, they Aardman can't really have like a benefactor. Really, they can't really do much without anyone backing them. Unfortunately, because the last one was like DreamWorks, and I think they did. What did they do? They did Chicken Run, of course, and they did Flushed Away, which was sort of a stop motion hybrid with CGI. And there was another one I can't remember. And I think the last one was the Caveman one. Yep.
Yeah, Early Man.
Early Man. Early Man.
Early Man.
Yeah, and unfortunately, yeah, when you're doing a movie, it takes 5 years for it from start to finish to stop motion everything. So, and the last movie that they did was for Netflix. They had a Netflix deal, and that was the sequel to Chicken Run, and that was good.
Yes.
My kids just love that movie. It's like this is the Chicken Run that I was brought up with. You're watching this one. It's like, but it was really enjoyable, and it definitely has that same sort of witty humor, that the tongue in cheek, which is really good. And yeah, and the Wallace and Gromit is just back to the original stuff that is like decades old and going back to the well, and just an add-on to a previous The Wrong Trousers episode, where this penguin, for some reason, is a criminal mastermind. It's really good. Yeah, can't wait for it. Just good nostalgia in a weird way. So when is this coming out, Kendall?
Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul is going to be on Netflix on the 3rd of January.
My mum's birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to her if she enjoys Wallace and Gromit.
Happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday, Mum.
Happy birthday on your birthday.
Yes, classy. Right. We got one more trailer to talk about, and this is again another one I'm keen to hear what both you guys think, especially Mike. This is our first full trailer for a Minecraft movie.
Minecraft.
Yeah, so yeah, we get Steve's origin story a little bit in this trailer, which was fun. You know, they're selling me a bit more on the Jack Black being Steve, I guess, but you know, I have no attachment to Minecraft games, so you know, I don't really have any skin in this game. I don't know if this movie's going to be good though. I don't know. I'm not picking up any. I mean, the animation might look really cool in certain parts, but no, I don't know if I'm sold on this film. Yeah, it's not. Nothing about this trailer blew my mind by any stretch, and yeah, there was no jokes, and I'm that really, yeah, made me laugh or anything. But yeah, I don't know. So I'm curious. This is a very curious movie to me, because I'm not sure, and a lot of people I hear talk about it. The trailer, like especially after the first trailer came out, there was a lot of chatter about it just not being good. Like people are not keen for Minecraft to be a movie. especially if it looks like this, apparently. So, anyway, I hope we're all wrong and it's another Super Mario event, and Minecraft actually turns out to be, the movie of 2025. Probably not. Fulia, what did you think of this trailer? How did it work for you?
So I'm a casual Minecrafter, and just seeing the way that the characters were sort of walking through this world, very blocky. It still kind of seems strange to me. I still have no idea about Jason Momoa's character. He looks weird too. It's just I don't get him. But the idea of Steve wanting to go mining, like, who is that type of person that as a kid they wanted to be like, I want to mine?
You've never grown up with a sandpit or strived to dig?
Not really, no. I mean, there were sandpits at my primary school, but didn't really dig much.
Well, did you have a friend or someone at school that was constantly digging, see if they can find what's ever at the bottom?
I didn't have a friend, but I did know kids that did it.
Yeah, them. It's a movie for them. As the line say, I urge for the mind.
Yearn for the mind?
Yerg.
Yeah, look, yeah, I don't know. I like that they use the joke of the cooking, the way they cook the chicken. Morbid as it is, that's how you do it in Minecraft.
Wow.
Well, you don't have to do it that way, but
You can put it on. You can put it
that's
on a
the
campfire.
extreme way. Yeah, that's the extreme way of doing it. Pouring lava over it.
Using a bucket of lava.
The night enemies is the thing that kind of really, I don't know how I like the look of those, to be honest. But yeah. Anyway, I don't really have much else to say, so I'm gonna throw it over to Michael.
That's all right. You don't like zombie movies?
Look.
Or
I'm probably gonna end up watching this at some point. Maybe not in the cinema, but I'll give it a go at some point. Just not at the movies.
they're like skeletons riding spiders with flaming bows?
No, I'm good.
Ah, I bet you play on peace mode. Peaceful mode.
Creative mode.
What? Creative mode.
Not survival. I don't do survival. I do creative.
But you don't just survive.
No.
You don't play it at all.
I like to build. That's all I'm gonna say.
You can build a survival.
Not as much as you can in creative.
Whatever. There's a thing called gravity, and you can't double spacebar and float.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like to do. I like to float.
And you call yourself a gamer.
I said I was a casual Minecrafter, okay? Casual. Very heavy on the casual.
So anyway, the movie.
Yes.
This is a much better trailer than the teaser was. And I think they heard the internet and they they said, oh, okay, we'll focus more on what it's like, the movie. So the premise is a lot more understanded and not based on anything really. It's just Steve and Steve showing the reins to other people. So it's a Narnia story. How go into the real world and how the real world goes in, and you find 14 blocks of obsidian. And you stack them and make a portal. Then you get flint and steel and you make a portal. Minecraft rules. So,
Nice.
and yeah, so that would be interesting to watch. And yeah, no doubt I'll probably watch it. And probably watch it with my kids as well, because they know Minecraft. if there's going to be if there's a Roblox movie as well, my daughter will go, I want to watch that. It's like, it can be trash. I don't mind it being trash. It's alright. They like the Sonics as well, so I don't mind the Sonics. And I didn't mind the Knuckles series either.
Yeah, you said you liked that.
Even though it was like stupid and weird, and especially one scene where all of a sudden it's like a dream sequence and Michael Bolton singing. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So when's this coming out, Kendall?
Well, a Minecraft movie will be making its way to cinemas on the 3rd of April next year.
Make 'em away.
Yeah.
I haven't got up to that episode yet. But they start singing Make 'em away in crit.
Nice. Yeah. Great. So trailer park's done, which means now
Yes.
it's time
Ooh.
for the moment.
Get the witchy poo on.
The section, yes, the
Yeah.
path, the place.
I'll
the
get you my
thing.
pretties. And your little Stitch too.
Hey.
I see Stitch.
No.
Wonder what he
Not
tastes
my
like.
No.
Grilled
man.
Stitch.
Ah.
Num 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 num.
It's time for
Popcorn culture.
All along.
all along
Popcorn all
along.
along.
because we are here today to discuss. I'm so excited to talk with you guys about the wonderful show that was Agatha all along.
Anticipation.
Anticipation. Because the wonderful Fulya took some time and watched the show during the week. So I'm really keen to get into some overall thoughts, and I would like to start with you, Fulya, just because Mike, it's fresher in your head, and Mike and I have been done with this for a couple of weeks, and you know we watched it over a week to week basis. You've binged this, so
Yes.
I'm really curious to hear your thoughts as well, because like you were hesitant about watching this. So please, overall, what did you make of Agatha all along?
I think it was a good show. I enjoyed it for what it was. I wasn't overly enthused. Like I didn't get the same excitement levels as what you two did when you like week to week when you were talking about it. I don't know if that's because of the fact that it's like I didn't get a chance to sort of watch it with you and have that same discussion with the same thought process. But also the fact that it's been a while since we last watched WandaVision, so some of the stuff that happened in that show, it hasn't stayed in my head essentially. So getting some of the references in Agatha all along, it took me a little moment to realize what was happening and all that sort of stuff. So, but overall, I really enjoyed it, and. Man, Joe Locke is absolutely amazing. He did a fantastic job in his role. He really did. Kudos to him. And I'm just gonna say this. I loved his little crown in because it was like this electric sort of blue looking crown. It looked really sick on him.
Yeah.
It looked awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it. So I kind of want one. It looks so cool.
Nice.
But I had a sneaky suspicion of who he was from like maybe not straight away from the first episode, potentially the second.
Yeah, because I mean there was only two people he was gonna be. One, he was gonna be Nikki, or he was gonna be
Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So yeah. So you guessed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked seeing some of these other characters as well, which has been really cool to sort of see them be in this particular show. So the other witches as part of the coven. They were awesome, and just the amount of bickering that they had to go through in each episode, and
Mhm.
especially considering the fact that Agatha was doing this for more selfish purposes. So, but the others had other reasons for walking the path. And the one other thing, speaking of the path, I really liked the music of the show,
Mm.
like especially the ballad.
Yes.
That was cool. Like even like both renditions of it, like the one that they sang a cappella, and then the one that we got during one of the trials. Um, it just sounded really cool.
Yeah.
I really liked listening to that, and yeah, no, it was like overall it was a good show. I'll just put it that way. It
Cool.
wasn't like up here. Oh my god, it was the best thing.
Yeah.
It's sort of in the middle.
In the middle for you. Okay.
Yes,
No,
yes.
that's cool. That's all right.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Mike, I know we've been talking about this show obviously as it's been going on, but yeah, just in a summary now that we can talk a bit more openly about it. How is it sitting with you after a few weeks now?
Specifics is a bit difficult because it's been a couple of weeks, but overall, I really like the fact that it is like a quasi WandaVision sequel. Just it veers the story in a different direction, but still have elements. And I'm sort of excited of where this is going to go. Not necessarily a Agatha all along season 2, just name something else but continue the story. And that's what that's what I'm probably hoping for the Vision Quest, where we get to see what these people are doing, and then at the end we see Teen/Billy and Agatha as a to join them, and then they can find the other brother, and then they all conversions. I like this part of the MCU because it's dealing with family, it's dealing with magic, and just simple story, and just a simple. When I say simple, I don't say it was like it's ticked by the boxes, but it was a simple story to have, about engaging at the same time. And it has been said that this is the most less expensive MCU show, and because it all takes place on the road, where everything was meant to look like it's homemade and very minimal CGI and all that, and it just made everything look more grounded, and it was more character driven than oh look, we're doing an Act 3 standoff, which only went for bits of an episode, and it had a completely different episode of where the direction was going. And so I enjoyed it on that, and hopefully they'll learn from this, where we just want simple stories when it comes to the TV show, and not sort of it's got to be the same sort of excitement as the movies. I think that's what the downfall was for most of the shows, like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and a little bit of the Miss Marvel, where it had to have like a big thing at the end just to captivate. And it's like, no, it's more story driven, it's more ground based, and I'm only guessing, but this is probably what the original idea for Daredevil was, where they sort of followed that sort of thing, where people were where they thought, oh, it's got to be like this big thing. No, it's got to be like the Netflix show, which I've only seen like one episode, so I can only go by that. Where it's more driven, it's more driven by character and not necessarily plot. And you can sort of see that with Echo as well, like that series where it's more just ground based and just it's character driven and not necessarily spectacular. So overall, enjoyed it, and can't wait to see more and where these characters are going.
Nice. Yeah, I think I kind of second a lot of that. Yeah, I'm wondering, how, if they're going to continue, because clearly, obviously, by the ending shot, they're setting up something, or hoping to set up something to continue this story, and now that Billy and Agatha are going to go try and find Tommy, so, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how that will all pan out, eventually, hopefully not in another 3 years, from now. But no, I really liked the show. I really enjoyed it. It was very well done, and I mean, Mike, you just pointed out, the budget they had to work with, and the fact that they pulled this off so nicely and neatly, and it looks like money was spent really in a lot of spots. I think, like, just in terms of costuming and certain set pieces, and like, I don't know. It doesn't look cheap, is what I'm trying to say, really. But yeah, I just really keep getting stuck on the fact that, I remember us discussing the show in the lead up and how they kept changing the name, and how that was driving me personally a little bonkers, because I was like, come on, guys, let's. And then it turned out to sort of be a gag, and it was like, okay, all right, well, what are we doing here? And yeah, I didn't have any high expectations for this show, and I don't know if that's part of why I enjoy it. I ended up enjoying it so much because I just went in completely cold on it. But regardless, I think, by the time it was all said and done, it just worked really well. It was a good story that was told. The characters are amazing. We'll get into some of them. I think this is Catherine Hahn's, like, it should be one of her career-defining performances, I think. I mean, she's been in the industry for so long, and done so much incredible work, but I just got so used to seeing her once a week as Agatha now, and I really love her. I've always been a fan of her in so many different movies and TV shows she's done, but like this Agatha was just, I don't know, just really, I don't know, she just like so many of these MCU characters we see, so many of the actors that are cast to play them just really become them, and you can't imagine anyone else playing them. And I say Agatha and Catherine Hahn is the same. Like, it's just, I think she's just perfect. She's just so much fun, and I like what they did with her. So, but we'll talk a bit more about that as well. It was fun. It was a good show. And I'm looking forward to discussing a little deeper with you guys now. But the first point, I can't remember. I think Fulya, you mentioned WandaVision. So it kind of does operate as a sequel, if you will, to WandaVision in a way. Continues the story of, like, kind of, we find, obviously we find out what happened to Agatha after Wanda left Westview. And then obviously with Team turning out to be Billy Maximoff, the fact that his life was somehow able to come out of the hex and enter his body, and all this, and the way they explained all of that, by the way, I thought it was excellent. Like, they didn't overthink it. They didn't try to dumb it down for anyone or make it this big complicated thing. It was just like, oh, his spirit found a dead body and entered it, and that was it. But yeah, as a sequel to WandaVision, I think it did really well. It helps that, like, the showrunner Jack Schaefer worked on WandaVision as well. She was the showrunner of that, so she was able to bring that continuity across in terms of the writing and the storytelling, which shows because I feel like they really care about these characters a lot. We spend a lot of time getting to know all these characters, and yeah, nothing feels like it was skipped over or not considered. Like it just really feels like they have a real appreciation for the characters and the storylines that are being told in this show. And yeah, you saw that in WandaVision. Again, WandaVision was another show we didn't know what to think of when it was coming out. Like we're like, what? It's sitcoms. What are we doing here? And then it turned out to be absolutely fantastic. And yeah, and now 3 years later we get to watch this. Yeah, I love the way they continued everything, and then we got to spend time in Westview again, and you know, and see what all the other residents are doing. And I mean, my only gripe I will say is that they made Sharon Davis, aka Mrs. Hart, aka Garden Lady. Um, they kind of made her a little bit more of the comedic relief, I suppose. I mean, not that she had much time in WandaVision to do anything other than be controlled by Wanda and then dealing with the grief of that. But for me, like, you know, they kind of, I don't know, they kind of made her a bit too funny. I don't know, but I mean, it's Deborah Jo Rupp. She's very talented. She's a very funny lady. Like, maybe they just wanted to let her be funny. I don't know. But it was cool to see more of her because she's fun. She's fun. Yeah, I don't know what else I can say about the WandaVision connections, but other than, you know, starting to talk about more of the other characters, but I really love the first episode, how it kind of really felt like they didn't miss a beat. Like, here we are, we're back in this world. She's in a show still. And just, yeah, I really liked seeing Agatha as a detective.
So butch.
Yeah, so butch. And just the accent was, I love the way she spoke. I can't remember the line, but there was the one where she like had the notebook and she's like writing down what team was doing. Total loser, or whatever she's like. It was very, very funny. Yeah. So I'm glad that this kind of turned out to be more connected to WandaVision than I thought it was going to be. So, Fulya, any WandaVision thoughts on that front?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Because it's been such a long time since I last watched the WandaVision show. Making some of those connections didn't really happen immediately for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, I remembered that Wanda had put Agatha back under the spell by the end of that series. So that meant that she was going to be in a show of some form. But so that was interesting to see where she ended up. Just this, this cop that lives on her own. But it's a decorated detective, I should say. And then, just a lot of the connections, it didn't really sort of hit me straight away. So yeah, I just watched it as just a show that on its own, like its own show, essentially, and enjoyed it in that respect. But I did pick up on some references here and there. But yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Mike, what about you? How did we talked about WandaVision obviously back in the day. Was that one of your higher rated MCU shows?
One that was most memorable because it was unique, and added plus it was the first one, and everything after that was judged by it, and then, but yeah, it was definitely like unique and different, and also we're coming off what was all the way back then, like after Endgame.
Yeah.
Like everything after Endgame was sort of weirdly put together. It's like, okay, where does the where does the universe sort of land here? And this is the first outing, and I do remember where we just so craved for more interconnectivity when it comes to the MCU that all of a sudden Mephisto was popping out of everywhere, and this is the show that will introduce mutants because now we've got mutants. And then Ralph Boner came up and was like, oh my god, they're actually doing it. And then all of a sudden, it's a joke. It's like, okay. But I really, not to jump too far ahead, but I definitely like Ralph Boner's inclusion into this sort of of where his journey is and how that makes sense, how that would make sense that he's the stepping stone for Billy to actually find out what the hell is going on, and it just fitted very well, and it sort of gave the sort of softens the blow of the Ralph Boner of it all from the WandaVision, where it's like, okay, we thought it was something, but it was something else. We got pissed off, and now we're coming to accept it. That all of a sudden there's this guy that looks like a different interpretation of Quicksilver is just walking around, and now is a just a struggling actor and just believes in everything.
Very paranoid.
Yeah, very, very paranoid.
Very paranoid. I would just like to quickly say on that I feel like, because I was one of those pissed off people about the Ralph Boner thing. So I think this inclusion of him here kind of almost redeems that.
Yeah,
whole thing.
softens the sort of blow when it comes to it.
It was so good. It was so good.
Yeah. So where do I go from here? Yeah. I didn't quite. Yeah, I'm the same. I didn't quite remember like all the nuances of the connections between the previous episode, the previous show, WandaVision, and this one, but I just enjoyed the ride, and it's like, okay, this is where we're going, and it's just subtle touches, and then by the end, where we find out who Teen is, and is now Billy, and that sort of scene where it just, without any words, it just makes sense, where the soul of Billy was floating around, and all of a sudden, I found a vessel. And that makes sense. And then at the end, where Billy was helping Tommy to find his own body, and the sort of it's like, ooh, am I killing a kid for my brother? It's like, no, he's dead already. So, essentially, he's recycling.
Yeah.
It depends if you feel. It depends if you feel a bit iffy about body and soul and how they're connected, and it's more spiritual than sci-fi, but can be explained by sci-fi. What was the original question?
How does this show, like, did you like how it worked as a sequel to WandaVision?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Because it was its own thing to start with. And then in the later half, it was just, that's the reason. So retroactively connected and not necessarily full-on connection, because Wanda is dead, is not. Who knows? I'll leave it up to the next team to figure that shit out.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
And White Vision's just fucked off somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Waiting for his own show to start.
Get off the ground first.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, Agatha, let's talk about her as a character. I mean, I loved her in WandaVision, and then seeing her in her own show here. I mean, I already gushed about Catherine Hahn, but her performance this season was so good. The way she can go in between and like all the facets of Agatha, and like kind of capture every complex part of her, like going from like just being outrageously funny and silly and sassy to just being straight up evil, and like villainous, I suppose. But then also being very human and very melancholic, and just, she just really just, made this character such a complicated figure in this show. And one thing I kind of zeroed in on was, I listened to this podcast review it, and one of the things they kind of brought up was like how the show, because like, how Loki kind of went from being a villain to an anti-hero sort of by the end, and then by the end of Loki season 2, one might call him a hero, I don't know, that's up for debate, but he went on that kind of journey, whereas Agatha is, she was a villain in WandaVision, and now she gets her own show. She's the protagonist, but that doesn't make her the hero, obviously. But the show, this podcast, one of the things they said was like the show was not interested in redeeming her or like making her a good guy.
No.
I mean, she has aspects of that in her, but she also has this darkness to her that she can't seem to get away from. I mean, maybe when your girlfriend is deaf, then I suppose that's a bit hard to get away from. But yeah. So I like the fact that they didn't go down that cliched route of let's turn her around, let's like, but they still managed to do it in a way that like we made us understand where she was coming from, in terms of like what was motivating her. She was being driven by this grief the whole time, what she went through losing her son the way she did, and all of that. But like, yeah, you don't like have any sort of, I don't know. The relationship with the audience and Agatha is very complicated, I think. But I put that down to the writing and Catherine Hahn's performance. But I really liked it a lot, and especially the last episode. I think when we finally learnt everything about her in terms of, like her and Nikki, what happened to her and Nikki, and what happened with Rio / Death, like what was, I probably wanted to know more about Agatha and Rio's relationship, to be honest. But what we got was fine enough, I guess. But Agatha and Nikki was kind of the crux of it, and seeing how, like, on one hand you have Agatha and Nikki inventing the ballad of the road, right, as they're walking. They're coming up with a song, and then it becomes this earworm thing that just catches on and gets passed down and becomes what it becomes, right? But then you have the other half, Billy. He comes along and he makes the road real. So both these two figures in this show, they both kind of play such a, I just love the way they kind of, I don't know, I juxtapose with each other in terms of, one, they both create the central thing in this show, and how they're connected and stuff. But yeah, I was thought of something else I was gonna say and I've forgotten it now. But anyway, oh yeah, the scene, I liked the way it kind of climaxed with the scene, the montage of Agatha, like that, killing all the witches, I guess. Like immediately after she's buried her son, and then she just starts, like singing the road, and like I'm gonna use it to trick all these witches and get their powers. And then that realization of like, oh, that's what she was gonna do, literally in the beginning of the show. And then Billy created the road, and that did not happen. Yeah.
And
so,
even Agatha was surprised. It's like,
yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I love how, like, on a rewatch of this show, it's going to be really cool to see where all the bits of dialogue and references to, like, because you got glimpses of that in the, in those montage sequences where they were explaining how everything was clicking together with Billy and with Agatha and all that. But, like, going back and watching it and being like, and Agatha's like, the road doesn't exist. It's like, and she's speaking the truth. Or like, I really love now. My favorite is the argument that that Agatha and Jen and Alice have, or all of the whole coven argue about if is it coven two or coven true, the lyrics in the song, and then Agatha's like, it's coven two, and because I invented the song, I know, like it's just kind of I just kind of really like how that all it all kind of comes back, and you kind of get an extra experience out of it. So it's great writing. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep rambling. So Fulia, please.
Save
What did
me.
you think of Agatha Harkness in this show?
Yeah, like you said, it was one of those things where the show wasn't there to redeem her in any way. And that's what made it a little bit more interesting than some of the other shows that we've seen. The fact that she still ended up being the villain regardless of what the show was trying to sort of portray. And I kind of like that they decided to go in that sort of unique route instead of trying to redeem her in any way, because she's a witch with so much, like, she's, like you said, she's going through grief, but she's just got all this evil within her, you know, like she wants people to, like, she doesn't care about people. She only cared about her son. That was it. Everyone else to her was just useless, or power that she was going to gain from them, from other witches. Which was an interesting thing that I, watching that last episode, and I watched it today, and yeah, it was just interesting to see how that all sort of played out for her and her life with her son. The fact that Rio gave her time but didn't say how long, which that for me was like, oh, okay, this death can pop up at any moment.
It's kind of like a metaphor.
Yeah, so I was a little sad the moment that, Nikki did end up dying, essentially. Because the moment that Agatha woke up and Nikki wasn't moving at all, that's when she realized that was it. Now she's on her road to, I don't know if it's vengeance, to be honest, but it's just more of a, she didn't know how else to,
carefree.
Yeah. She didn't know how else to grieve.
Yeah.
That was like her way of taking it out on everybody else around her.
An unhealthy way to grieve.
Yeah, very unhealthy. She decided to go towards the dark, and that didn't go too well for her. But yeah, no, Catherine Hahn did such an amazing job in portraying Agatha, especially in this particular show. And she made me giggle quite a bit. Like, some of the stuff that, that Agatha does in this show, especially during the trials. Like, the fact that she really didn't want to participate in these trials because she didn't want to die by the end of it.
Well, she knew it was all bullshit.
Yeah. It's again, it adds that extra layer of comedy to it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. The fact that she cheats on some of them, she doesn't oh my gosh, what's the word again? She doesn't just she doesn't participate. She doesn't want to participate.
No.
She's like, this is weird. Why is this even a thing?
Yeah.
But out of all of the, I think out of all of the episodes that we saw Agatha in, I think my favorite one probably had to be the one where the trial was about her, with her mum.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one was interesting.
That was good. That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it just because, like learning more about Agatha a little bit, or just the way she was trying to get out of it, and then, her mum would come up, and I mean, it was tense
It was
as well.
It was insane. It was insane. Like that's the. I think that was also the episode that had a little bit of it put into the trailer, like especially when she got possessed by her ghost mum, and she's just walking around like the Exorcist.
She turned into Riley.
And yeah, that kind of freaked me out a little bit, to be honest. So I'm not gonna lie.
Bet it did. Welcome to your introduction to horror.
Yeah.
There were some horror elements to this, but I'm glad that it didn't turn out to be just creepy shit throughout the whole thing. It was like it was tame, tamer than I thought it was gonna be, to be honest. So, yeah,
That's good. Good. All right, Mike. What did you think of Agatha in this show? Her story and her portrayal.
Almost too tame. They could branch out more, but yeah. But I like the story. Yeah, I really enjoyed the character of Agatha Harkness, and where they sort of left her, as well as like giving a pretty decent backstory to sort of make you sympathize as well of why she is who she is. Because we had the only thing that we had was from WandaVision, where we saw the aftermath of her coven originally was trying to get rid of her because she's like the abomination of actually taking witches like power, no fault of her own, but even having a family member of just saying no, you're no good is just a difficult pill to swallow, and them trying to like take her out, but all of a sudden she can take them out, and then having with her confrontation with her ghost mum, and putting on that sort of generational guilt, as well as not having a loving family as well, and her trying to have her own family, and even that doesn't work because Nicholas isn't meant to be, unfortunately. And that was a bit hard to watch, considering I don't want to think about my children being collected by death without my knowledge. It's a metaphor that I don't want to live. Focus, damn you. And just I can't just I can't say anything more. Just high praise of such a terrific TV show, and just got better and better throughout the weeks, which is very surprising, because all the other shows, it's like, okay, where is this going, and is it a good payoff? Yeah, not really. But this one, it just gradually builds until like the final episode is like, that's the reason, and that's the reason why, and I enjoy it, and I want to see more of Billy and Agatha, especially if Billy's going to be within the other TV shows, and no doubt going to be in the Avengers 2 movies, sorry, and just having a conversation with Agatha, and him the only one that can actually talk to Agatha, is going to be a fantastic sort of thing. Who are you talking to? Nobody. and Agatha's just showing him a dirty look. It's like, I'm still here. I'm haunting you. And then probably the only other people that can see her are probably Wanda, if she is alive. Don't know. And yeah, and probably Doctor Strange. That would be interesting. A lot of people are wanting Doctor Strange to train Billy. Want to see that team up. I think that's going to be the thing now. It's like we want to see like team up in the new Avengers. They're like having the mythical arts tackling side, and it's going to be an interesting juggle. And I don't envy the Russo brothers of trying to juggle all that at the same time. Yeah.
No, I don't either. Cool. Well, speaking of Billy, yeah, Billy Maximoff.
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid. Billy the Teen, if you will. Yeah, fantastic character in this show. I really liked him. And Fulya, you said earlier, you sung the praises of Joe Locke. He's very, very good. Very good in this role. And I recommend people check out Heartstopper, which is the Netflix show that he got his break on. It's a British show because he's British, he's English. It's just really cool to see him here and playing this just really awesome character who had so much more to him than we first realized, you know. Like, I love how they kind of really made him look like this fanboy, this like witchy fanboy at the start. And then, oh no, he's actually the son of the Scarlet Witch. Okay. He has some power. Yeah, I loved how that kind of all came together, especially because one of the things that I had an issue with for a little bit was like how, like, because Agatha guessed who Billy was, and you know, and she kind of, you know, is like, you're so much like your mum, you both have the same tell, like she just knew. And I was like, how does she know? And then I was like, oh, it literally, at the end, when you find out that Billy made the road, then you can go, oh, okay, well, Agatha knows the road isn't real. So therefore, she knows something's up with Billy, because nothing changed in the room until he came downstairs when he was running from the Salem 7. So that's how she was able to fix it out. And I really liked that that's how they explained that, because I was like, okay, good, now I can move on with my life.
Everything falls into place.
Everything falls into place. One of my favorite episodes of this season, my second favorite episode, I'd say, was the episode where we get to see how he went from being William Kaplan into Billy Maximoff. That backstory, and I loved how he interacted with everyone in the coven in the lead up to, you know, where we get to the beginning of the show and all of that. But yeah, that was really, really cool to see how he comes together with that, and that's obviously where we got our Ralph Boner scene as well. That was great. But yeah, I liked I think probably one of the best performance moments for Joe Locke though was when, and Mike, you referenced it before, like in the second last episode when Agatha's trying to help Billy find Tommy a body, and that sequence was so, like, his performance in that sequence was amazing. And just that last moment of like, Agatha, am I killing this boy so my brother can live? And then for Agatha to just be like, no, Billy, sometimes boys just die. Just like, fucking hell, right in the feels. Right
Coming
in the
from
feels.
her?
But like,
yeah,
coming from her, yeah, absolutely brutal. But yeah, I like Joe's performance in that moment of just like really, you could hear the pain in his voice and what he's experiencing, and the grief and the sorrow and the guilt, like this. And then like this, it's the same again at the end of the season when he's like, I created the road, I killed Alice, I killed Lilia.
Yeah, he started spinning out. Yeah.
Yeah, like, holy shit, I killed Sharon. Like, he's like, he blamed himself for all of it. And then I kind of liked how Agatha, she didn't have to, but she kind of was like, well, actually, you technically saved a life because if you weren't there, I was going to have killed them all. So the fact that Jen made it out was like, the silver lining.
Silver
But Billy,
lining,
of course, but Billy doesn't see it that way. And I don't think he ever will, to be honest.
No.
So, and I think that's part of what makes him a really interesting character as well. That because even in the last episode too, he says that he's not a nice person, or he kills his coven members as well. Because Agatha's like, I've been warned, I've been known to kill my coven members, and he's like, so have I. That whole thing. So so I'm very much looking forward to seeing where they take him. And I loved his outfit when he had the full outfit at the end of episode 8 with the cape and the crown, as you've already said, Fulya. Looks really, really rad. You want to know something that might hit you in the feels, because it hit me in the feels. The cape. So this podcast I listened to talked about it, because it's out in the universe, probably on the Instagram of the costume designer on the show.
Yeah.
But apparently, because the cape is red, right? Apparently the outside of the cape has designs in it that are supposed to reflect Wanda, the Scarlet Witch costume, and the inside of the cape is supposed to reflect Vision's cape. So it's supposed to have the same sort of design on the inside.
Like
so he's
the
always got his
angles and
and
the lines that Vision has.
That Vision has. So so
he's more Minnie's dad.
He's always got his parents with him, is kind of the vibe.
Okay.
So, and I heard that and I was like, oh my god. I love when costumers put that thought in, or those details in. Like, it's not just an outfit. There's like, if you look at this, you can actually unlock so much more. Like, they did that. A lot of the costumes in the show were really, really good. And every trial they went through, like every character they had a costume theme to whatever the trial was, or the setting of the trial, but it was also aesthetically to them. In a lot of ways, in terms of color and all of that. Very, very well done. Very well done. But yeah, Billy Maximoff, I can't wait to see where he goes, and how he ends up. I can't wait to see him interact with other characters. Mentioned Doctor Strange. I didn't even think of that. I'm like, that would be really cool if maybe Steven gets a bit guilty himself for how things with Wanda ended. I don't know. And then it's like, I'm gonna take her son under my wing and show him the mastery of the mystic arts and all of that, and maybe steer him in the right direction away from darkness. And I
just thought of the ego, the alter ego, and the id.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because you got Billy as the ego, and you got the and you got the id being Agatha, and you got the super ego as Strange, because no doubt Strange can see Agatha.
Oh yeah, I'd be so surprised. I'd be so surprised if he couldn't.
It's like, don't listen to her.
Yeah, that would be very funny.
I can see you and hear you.
Yeah, but then I feel like Agatha would know that he, like, if she knew who he was, I feel like she wouldn't be surprised. And it would be Billy would be the one that would be surprised, and the two of them would be like, yeah, of course he could see me. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. What do you mean? Was the Sorcerer Supreme. Actually. Bless. Anyway, Fulya, I don't have much else to really say, so I'd love if you have any extra thoughts on Billy Maximoff you haven't shared yet.
I would like to say how well he pulled off the Maleficent look.
Oh, damn, yeah, right? So good.
So good, the Maleficent with the horns.
Yeah. Yeah, he looked the best out of all of them in that scene, that trial. Yeah, he looked amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, honestly, I didn't realize about the cape, but the cape made his look, along with, you know, the crown and all that sort of stuff, and it just, yeah, he's, I don't know. There's a lot going on with Billy that to just see him. This was, even though it was Agatha was the main lead, this was Billy's journey to
Yes.
figuring out who he was.
It was
Correct.
Billy all along.
It was
Billy,
Billy
all
all along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and I kind of really like that about this show. The fact that even though it was Agatha is the title of this show, but you have this other character that's on their own journey as well,
Yeah.
but they're not 100% the focus, but they're still there. I think I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And yeah, like, seriously, like Joe Locke, he's fantastic job at portraying the character. And he looks the part. And like, honestly, I don't even remember what the kids look like from WandaVision. So, not that it really matters. They wouldn't have grown up to look like him anyway. But yeah, no, it was just seeing him. Yeah, Joe Locke is just so good.
Yeah. He's very talented. Young
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved. Yeah, once he managed to realize his name and realize who he was, break the sigil, and that just the way that he got transformed into that sort of, it kind of scared me a little bit that he was turning kind of evil, especially when he first transformed and essentially killed quotation everyone while on the path. So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, no, Joe Locke, man.
Yeah.
Hats off to him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Mike, do you have any additional Billy Maximoff thoughts? Did you enjoy watching his journey throughout the season?
I did. Just like the audience, wasn't sure where this kid was coming from, but did have the inkling that it was either Billy or Nikki. But as the worm turned, as the table turns, all of a sudden it was Billy's show, and I was like, it was a good turn and a good exploration into the backstory of Billy Maximoff, and yeah, and very well done. Want to see more, please.
More, please.
Yeah, I suppose everyone had their time to shine in this.
Yeah.
Not just subtly hinting a segue here.
Yes, no, I know, thank you. Yes, no, yeah, like I mentioned earlier too, like I feel like this show really appreciated the characters it was dealing with, and you know, we got to actually get them quite fleshed out, and you know, some more than others, but you know, I really enjoyed, you know, the coven as a whole. The group dynamic was great. I liked, I think, them working together on the trials, like especially in the first trial in the house with the wine and all of that, and then the next trial, you know, when they're in the 70s and having to perform the ballad to get out, and you know, whatever, you know, that just the way that they kind of all have gripes with each other, but they're also working together and kind of come to mutually respect each other to the point where, you know, at the start of this thing, Lilia and Jen Jen like shades Lilia immediately for how old she is, and then by the end of episode 7, Lilia's dead and Jen is grieving so hard, like she's like, I've lost someone I've found, you know, and then, you know, and then you have someone like Alice who's just plagued by this curse, that her mother was trying to protect her from, and then she finally gets the curse broken, and then she dies. And it's just so gut-wrenching.
But the thing that redeemed her, I suppose, especially, was it in the last episode or the second last episode, where they said, where Death told her that she was a protection witch and she died protecting someone.
Yes,
So it
that's right.
kind of redeemed her in a way.
Yeah, I agree. Like, yeah, because it you know, I liked how that explanation kind of, it was the perfect, like, I'm just going to use the phrase here, nail on the coffin.
Yeah.
You know, like, it just perfectly captured, like, in a simple way, like, oh, yeah, because she's like, I've got so much life left to live. I've got so much more I can do now that I'm unburdened from this pain. And Death's like, well, you know, but you served your purpose. You died doing what you were born to do. So therefore, you know, out you go, you know. So yeah, that was really well done. But yeah, I think in terms of the coven, I think Lilia was probably my favorite of the coven. Mostly just because she had the best episode of the whole season, in my opinion. With the way her out of timeness came together and started to make sense, and that episode was just excellently executed, and the way they paid off all of those moments that were scattered throughout, where she kind of dipped out and came back, you know, and like the fact that it was building up to something the whole time. Like, I didn't think so at first, because I was just like, oh, she's, you know, she's a divination witch, maybe she's seeing things that, you know, maybe we'll eventually find out about, I don't know. But then it's like, oh no, she's actually living out of order, like in order for herself, but out of order for everyone else.
Fourth dimensional being.
Fourth dimensional being, exactly. And I really loved how that all connected to her beginnings, when she was, you know, she's at her first lesson. And I love how her you know, teacher essentially is like not surprised when she realizes she's talking to, you know, 400-year-old Lilia, right? Like, she's just like, oh, okay, this is normal, you know. I just love how chill that is. But yeah, Lilia's growth, Lilia's journey in that episode, and how everything slid into place was just excellent. I can't praise it enough, to be honest. I thought it was very good. And yeah, so I really loved her, and the way she kind of had this struggle the whole season of like, these caricatures of witches don't represent who we are, like, you know, the broomsticks and the warts on the nose and the hats and all the stuff, and how, like, in her trial she has to dress up as Glinda, essentially, you know, and take on those tropes.
So insulted.
Yeah, but then like the last thing she says is, I loved being a witch. And that just like got me like in the feels, like, oh my god, like she's just beautiful. Anyway, it was just great. Fulya, how did you feel about the coven at large? Did you have a favorite member, or any favorite moments with those characters?
Yeah, just sort of going through with all of them, like, you know, Alice, Jen, they were pretty cool, but they didn't really get too much of a focus, to be honest. Apart from Alice's one with her trial, and trying to break the curse. Jen, she was more of like the supporting character. It seemed like you didn't really get too much of her.
No.
Unfortunately, but it would have been nice if they gave her a chance to sort of go through how her magic got bound. But even though it gets explained at the end, it's a bit of a shame that we didn't get to see much of Jen, because she was actually really a cool witch as well in the coven. Especially considering the fact that she was the witch that made all of the healing potions and like all that sort of stuff. But you are right, Kendall. Lilia was definitely one of the standouts in the coven. She was really intriguing to learn about her life, and every time she spaced out, I was like, I wonder what happened. Like, for me, I thought it was like there was something else about her. Like, my head didn't think that she was warping in and out of time. So that was actually really interesting to find out in her episode, where she doesn't live her life linear. For her, it's all over the place. Time for her is not linear, and
Time is a
that
circle.
it was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating to learn about her power, essentially, and then her trying to figure out her purpose, especially in the trial where she was dressed as Glinda, where they all find out that apparently that trial was for her and not for Agatha,
Mhm.
or for
Or for Billy.
Billy.
Hmm.
It was literally for her, and that room was just holy crap. Like, that room freaked me out with the swords. It's like one card gets put down, shing, a sword falls down, and then another one gets put down, another sword falls. But it was just the other thing that was really interesting, especially more specific. That only happened more so when she was reading the cards for someone else.
Mhm.
So obviously, like, the room knew that she was doing it wrong, but then when she started reading it for herself, and all you saw was just the ceiling just coming lower and lower, and you could and the thing that I found also funny was especially when the other three were like, they were standing and then they ended up having to like crouch down lower and lower, like especially under the table kind of a situation, the lower the swords got. But yeah, no, Lilia just had this really fascinating story that for her, she was living in fear in about dying, because
Mm.
apparently she knew that she was gonna die. She didn't want to. And yeah, it was just, yeah, no, Lilia she was great. I loved it. I loved her.
Mhm.
She was really awesome. And then I was very sad when I found out that she died. The way that she did.
Yeah.
But with a content face.
Yeah.
Yeah, acceptance.
She was, yeah, exactly, acceptance. She was okay with it by that time. So
Yeah, like she came to terms with the end of her life,
but then
like,
she gets reincarnated.
yeah, maybe.
Time's a
Or
circle.
does she? I don't know.
But then the
Alright.
fact that she also got to die so her friends could live, sort of thing, is, you know, it's
Yeah.
kind of nice for her too. Like a good
So
way
that's
to
why
go.
she ended up being the Glinda. She's the nice witch.
Yeah.
If
The
you've
good
seen
witch.
Wicked,
A good
probably
witch.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not exactly. Mike, do you have thoughts on the Covenant Large to share?
It was a good team. They bounced off each other like really well. Alice's story is definitely a good one, and then an unfortunate end to it. But I did like her episode because I'm a big fan of like 70s horror and how they sort of film that, because Speria and all those sort of very long shots and all that, and just the 70s aesthetic is great. Who's the other one? Jen. Wasn't quite fleshed out as the others, but as she's the only one that got to escape, maybe we'll see her later on down the track. Don't know where, don't know
Maybe.
when. Who knows if her story is still around? Who knows? But she got her powers back, so that's good. So she got what she wanted, and most of them did by the end. But Glinda the Good Witch, best episode, because they definitely did a lot of work around that, especially in the writing stage, because that could be so difficult to write down, and just just post-it notes everywhere. It's like, okay, where are we again? and how's this character? What does this character know, and what she doesn't know? It's just great. This is one of the reasons why a rewatch is great, because you can sort of see the subtle picks of what you didn't get from the first. So the rewatch value of this show is just great. You can just watch this like each year, watch it, and you get a lot more out of it. And yeah, I think that's it. What was I going to say? Something I can't remember, but Patti LuPone needs to win something for it.
Yeah, give her a Best Supporting nomination or award or something. Yeah, all of the above for this.
Yeah.
She was great. I think I did read that they are submitting the show for awards season. So makes all the sense in the world. Some great performances here and some great filmmaking going on as well.
Shall we talk about Death Baby?
Yes, let's. Yes. Because, we finally, after all this time, got to see the MCU's version of Death.
Unless you're spoiled by a Funko Pop.
Unless you were spoiled by a Funko Pop, which a lot of
Is
people
that what
did.
you got spoiled by?
I got spoiled by Death and Wiccan.
And who?
Wiccan.
Wiccan, which is Billy.
Oh, I see.
Wiccan is his superhero name, I guess.
Oh, fake names.
Interesting.
He's a fake name. He's the fake name.
I'm surprised I haven't come across those pops.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet either. But yeah, they're out there. They're coming out. For those that aren't aware, Death is a character in the MCU.
Personification.
And the personification of death, and especially in the Infinity War stories of comics, the whole reason Thanos wanted to get all the Infinity Stones was to impress Death, because he was in love with Death.
It was for a chick. It was an impressive chick.
He did it for a chick. And of course, that's not what we saw in the Infinity Saga.
Because that would be dumb.
That would... Could you imagine?
But it's not comic accurate. Well, the first Avengers outing, Hulk joined the circus.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So because Loki did his all, because Loki was the first villain, so it makes sense.
Yes, he was.
But Loki did a thing, people, and framed something on Hulk, and Hulk was ostracized, and he joined the circus. So to escape. So
great.
You know.
Wonderful.
It's dumb things. It's dumb things, but it's good. That's why everyone that's why everyone sort of lost their shit when they saw the Thanos copter in Loki.
Yeah.
Because Thanos has a helicopter.
Thanos has a helicopter. It's canon. It's canon. It's fantastic. Yeah, I didn't think that Rio was going to be anyone. When I was watching this, the beginning, the first episode, like when we get that first fight scene between the two of them, that's too hot for TV almost. So good. I kind of just got the vibe that, she's another super powerful witch. She has this incredible ability, and she can match Agatha. And then, they have that exchange where, like, Rio's like, you can always take my power. And then Agatha's like, well, that would kill me if I did. And now we know why. But back then I was just like, oh, okay, what's going on here? And then obviously there was a subtext at the beginning of their relationship, but then we realized, oh no, they actually were in a relationship. This whole thing happened, and and on that, the one thing that kind of frustrated me was the fact that, like, Agatha hates Rio for having to take Nikki away, right? which is fair enough. Fair enough. But really kind of irritated me when like she's like, you know, you took from me, like, you know, like, and Rio's like, you got, like, no one else in history has gotten special treatment like you, and Agatha's like, you call what you did special treatment. And then when we see what happened, the fact that Nikki was basically going to be dead out of the womb, right? And then Rio comes along to take him, and then, you know, because of their relationship and their love for each other, she's able to go, okay, you can have some more time, but I'm not going to tell you when I'm coming for him, whatever. So it just I kind of wish they'd acknowledged more that, not that Agatha would be grateful for that, but like, I would have appreciated if maybe Rio threw back in Agatha's face, I'm like, shouldn't you be grateful for the 6 years you got with your son? Or would you have rather not had any time at all? Like, you know, it was unnatural to keep him living. He was supposed to die. I gave you more time. And here's Agatha just being like, I hate you. You're the worst. I want, you know, like, I can't be near you anymore. Stop following me. Stop haunting me. Blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I feel like I know Agatha's obviously coping with the grief of, like, that I cannot imagine grief, you know, and that's fair. But I don't know. I just feel like she kind of gave Rio a bad go of it in that exchange. But that's neither here nor there. It was still great. I
may need to push back on that.
Oh, please.
Go on.
Please do.
The thought of just anything happening to your own flesh and blood is pretty much unnegotiable.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of hinting at too, and I was like, well, she's obviously grieving, you know, and dealing with the idea of, I'm going to lose my son.
Just a kid.
Yeah.
Get over it.
And I've lost my son, and therefore, and, you know, and so I can understand that, but I don't know. But, like, she got time with him she was never supposed to have, so I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Fuck Rio.
Fuck her.
Get fucked.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike. No, thank you.
It's
yeah,
Vegeta.
No,
My baby boy.
So good. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, I really loved Aubrey Plaza. Just, you know, she gives 110% to every character she plays. She's so funny. Her timing is impeccable, and, you know, getting to see her kind of lean into a little bit of drama here too is fun. It was interesting that they had her go sort of full maniacal, like, mustache twirly villain in episode 8. I don't know how I feel about that. I liked certain aspects of it.
Yeah.
But, like, I liked when she was like, I'm the natural order of things, baby, and you love me. You know, I thought that was kind of fun. And then how she got offended when, like, Agatha was, like, calling her, she was banished using a Latin spell, I think, a spell to banish her, and apparently one of the words meant evil. And so Rio was like, you're calling me evil, okay. We are so over. You know. So, yeah. But no, I really liked, yeah, anytime I get to watch Aubrey Plaza, it's just a joy. And she looked so good in the outfit. I loved the kind of creepy bone looking crown she wore. You know, the way they did the practical makeup on her face with the skull, like the skull on the bottom half of her face, when you got to see those glimpses. I thought that was great. Like, the costume was just, she looked incredible. Yeah, but I really liked, my favorite thing for me is just those moments of comedy she gets to bring, like those little, like, you know, when she gets introduced to the coven, and then there's, like, you know, little moments of, like, I'm actually this crazy, and I'm gonna, you know, or whatever. Like, she just does these little reaction things.
She doesn't have very good social awareness.
No, she doesn't, and that's fair, you know. I imagine that being such as her would have no attachment to any living thing, really.
Yeah.
Apart from Agatha, maybe, but, you know.
Another character that knows the road is bullshit, so...
Exactly. Exactly.
Very nonchalant when it comes to the
whole
thing.
Yeah.
the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah.
I
yeah.
really liked her entrance though. Like as creepy as it was.
when she
came
crawled
through
out of the earth.
The
yeah.
ground, yeah.
Very deadite.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. She's
And all
twisting
the
and
cracks,
turning.
and I'm just like,
yeah.
ugh.
Gross.
You should
Yeah,
watch Evil
nah.
Dead.
No. I'm
Yeah,
good.
for you.
No. Agatha all along was enough.
But yes, Death, loved her. She was
Mm.
great. I really liked her a lot.
Love
Fulia,
Death.
love Death. Your thoughts on Death, the character.
Oh. I don't want to die, so.
Yeah.
No one does.
But I mean, if when we do, we saw someone like Aubrey Plaza coming to take us away, I'd be like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
I can
Take me away.
Nah. Give me Christopher Lee's death.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
The sort of death is just a bureaucrat. It's like, have to do this. Come on.
I'm on a schedule. That's great.
Yeah,
yes.
so Rio was an interesting one. I wasn't sure what to think about her when we first get introduced to Rio. And I had this sneaky suspicion that she knew Agatha at more on a more personal level when you first meet her. And I was like, okay, cool, interesting. And then as the show progressed, I found that Rio's, like, her personality just seemed really quirky. But I had no idea that she was Death until it was obviously, like, announced that she was Death. So, yeah. The other thing was that, like, I didn't realize the type of relationship she had with Agatha as well, until it was also shown. So yeah, no, Rio was an interesting character. I'm not quite sure how I feel about her, but I did enjoy, like, some of the comical aspects of her throughout the trials. But then when she became more, like, when she revealed herself to be Death and all that sort of stuff, I feel like she came through a little bit better. I think I liked her a little bit better when she was revealed as Death. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Interesting. No, that's fair. That's fair. That's totally fair. Well, how did Death work for you, Mike? Were you happy to finally see the MCU's take on the character?
Yeah, I think the concept and and sort of connection between something physical of the Death is always interesting and bizarre, and take it or leave it. But I did enjoy this interpretation and this and just having fun with it. And yeah, I was spoiled pretty much from the very beginning. So, and the rewatch, and when I'm talking about the rewatch value, there are certain lines that sort of make sense now knowing that she's Death. Like when at the end of the second trial where Billy got stabbed, and everyone's trying to, see if he's all right and he doesn't die or anything like that, and just Agatha just turns to Rio and says, "Don't."
Yeah.
Now you know, and knowing is half the battle.
Know.
Yeah, and just having a relationship with Death is always complicated, scary, and yeah, cool. Are we going to get more Death?
Are we gonna get more Death?
Me hoping that there's another character that has a relationship with Death that I want to see as well. Deadpool.
Is it?
Is it Deadpool?
Oh, Deadpool.
Deadpool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Deadpool and Death get together in the comics, right?
Yeah, there was sort of like a love triangle between between Death, Deadpool, and Thanos.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's crazy as. I was, yeah. I don't know why, but that'll be an interesting take. I mean, now that Wade and Vanessa aren't really a thing anymore, maybe,
Maybe.
because what's more enduring than a being that cannot die. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Imagine all-
Deadpool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't die. So it's a perfect match then.
Perfect match in heaven, hell, purgatory.
Purgatory.
Maybe purgatory.
Yeah. Maybe purgatory.
So yeah, I like the show of not really having a bad guy per se,
Yeah.
because you could say, oh, Death is the bad guy. No, Death's doing a job.
Yeah.
You can't stop people from dying, otherwise the world gets too filled up.
Yeah.
I mean, Death must be pissed after Infinity War. It's like, got all these souls to do, sweet, and then all of a sudden it gets reversed. It's like, what the fuck? That's it.
What the hell?
That's it. You, Tony, come with me.
Oh.
Oh, Tony saw Death.
Yeah. Oh.
Tony saw Death.
Tony saw Death.
Steve saw
Wow.
Death.
Maybe.
He's old. He died of natural causes.
On the moon.
On the moon. A man in the moon.
In the moon. I was gonna quickly say before we wrap this up, didn't even think to mention this in the WandaVision connection, but we actually got a name drop of Mephisto in this show.
Yes, we did.
A
I
little
was
red
shocked to
meat
hear that
for
word.
the people out there.
Yeah.
Is
I
that-
thought that
But
was
then we never heard
great.
it again.
No.
Well, Mephisto is somehow in Ironheart.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's why they're name dropping him like randomly
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Him, her, they.
Mephisto.
Mephisto.
Oh, man. Oh, behave.
Oh, behave. Oh, all right. I don't think I have anything else I really want to mention. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we finish this?
Good
I
show.
liked it.
Get on Steelbook.
God damn it. Yes, it was a very good show. It was better than I think we all thought it was going to be, and I'm very happy about that. And yeah, we all are looking forward to where these characters are going to go next.
The MCU is
reckon?
back.
We're back, baby. We had one hit. We were like, yeah, let's go.
And then Captain America said, oh, we fell off.
Let's hope not.
I feel like there's gonna be a movie involving them.
I don't know what their plan for the Young Avengers is, because by the time they get to Young Avengers, all the Young Avengers will now just be Avengers because they won't be young anymore
No.
at this point.
I think they won't call it Young Avengers. I think it'll just be
Probably
a
not.
story within. Well, who knows? Maybe all the Avengers, quasi, are going to be stuck, just like Infinity War. Like, the ones that haven't been blipped are going to be the Young Avengers, and the Young Avengers are going to save the day.
Yeah.
And that's where you get, like, Wicked and Speedster Tommy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coming in.
And Hulk's kid,
Yeah.
Kate Bishop.
As a kid.
Yeah, At
Yeah.
at the end of
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It's
memorable.
been a while.
It's been a while.
Been a while.
Yeah, and Kate Bishop, Miss Marvel, all them.
Yeah. Indeed.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
see how it goes. Eventually, if
They're going to save the day.
They're gonna come in and save the day.
Yeah, and defeat Doom.
Nice. Let's see it.
Who's going to die next?
Who will-
Everyone.
Cool.
Hmm.
Shall we call it there? We loved it.
Mm-hmm.
We enjoyed it. We thought it was good.
Yep.
We had a good time. All right. Done. Those are our thoughts on Agatha all along the entirety of the miniseries. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Nice to see a good MCU project again. It's been a minute. So yeah, lovely, and an unexpected surprise too.
Yeah.
Which we all appreciate. Cool. Well, that is it from us. I think we can say goodnight
Yes.
and head on out of here. A 1, a 2, a 3.
And
that
that
was
was
a
a podcast called Fred.
Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for the latest Fred content.
If you like to listen to Fred the Alien, you can find us on SoundCloud, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts.
If you'd like to watch Fred the Alien, you can head over to youtube.com/Fred the Alien Productions. And if you're watching this right now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to be notified of future goodness. And if you're watching us live over on Twitch, make sure to give us a follow on your way out. Twitch.tv/Fred the Alien Twitch.
Yeah.
I've been a Kendall Richardson.
I've been a Fulya and Michael.
And I've been the Brown Witch himself, Michael Lister. And you just experienced a podcast called Fred. You.
Remember to eat beef.
Remember, Freddy lives, Loki dies, the Doctor is in, and Saturday Night Live with your host, Kendall Richardson, and Fulya and of course, Michael Lister.
Can you imagine?
Yes.
Yes.
Remember to look after yourself and your mental health, everyone.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, Laters Gators. And
Scene.